Okay, what we have here, if you remember the trailing edge computer with the A7N266 board, I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to install this, which is an A7A266. Now, some of you might remember I pulled one of these off the side of the road that had all manner of problems. And this one may also have all manner of problems. I kind of doubt that it actually works. As you can see here in this corner, this board is pretty warped. It sustained some damage. Quite a bit of damage. But what are these videos without some kind of experimentation? Running into all kinds of problems. So I'm going to go ahead and install this anyway. Pull everything out of this that I don't need for this project. And we'll see what happens. Probably nothing good. Okay, here we are. The new board's installed. Standoffs are in the proper positions. I have enough screws. Everything seems to be okay. Now, again, I'm not too thrilled with the warpage of this board. I've got a feeling this isn't going to work. I've also maxed it out at 2 gigs of RAM. There's no it's not necessarily true that that will work. I like the removable motherboard tray though. Now I gotta get it installed, figure out which of these are actually useful, and get everything into place. Okay, everything's installed and I think should be. Front panel's all hooked up. Just for a quick test, I don't have floppy or anything else. Let's see if it does anything at all. Since it got so badly warped, I am a little dubious. Something's happening. Probably should have posted by now, though. Okay, I think the board's dead. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, I feel like I'm in a situation where I have just totally wasted all of my time for nothing. I actually went ahead and I replaced the board entirely. Because, you know, I have 2 of them, and this is another one of those lovely situations where I have multiple examples of something and none of them work. They all have exactly the same problem. It just doesn't do anything at all. Now, why it doesn't do anything at all, I don't know. I mean, could be for any reason. But my last little glimmer of hope, this one has a battery. I may just pull the battery, see what happens then. We'll see what it does now. Don't think it'll do anything else. But just sit there and do nothing. But no, I've tried a bunch of different combinations and I can't get anything to work, so I think the A7N is going to go back in here and I'm going to have a conversation with an eBay seller, and if they try to put up a fight, then I'm going to take it straight to eBay because this is ridiculous. You do not sell something as used or working in any way when you haven't tested it, or B, you're just straight up lying about the condition that it's in, because very clearly they don't work. So, oh, and the other thing too is, of course, you need to package them properly because they were not packaged properly, because if they were, this board wouldn't have gotten warped. So, this project's on hold. Maybe forever. Maybe I just won't even frickin' bother, because apparently I'm not allowed to have an AGP Pro compatible board that actually works, because I have this one too, and this one doesn't work either. So, I may actually try it. I may see what happens, but it was giving me power issues. It just keeps turning on and off. So I have a feeling that it got damaged by a busted power supply. So, okay. I've put the A7V back, or sorry, the A7N, because it's an NVIDIA, not a VIA. Put all the cards back. Got everything set up. How much do you want to bet now that it won't work because I've pulled it out? Okay. Yeah, that's better. Board that actually functions. Memory test doesn't show anything, so that's good. How much RAM do we have? 1 megabyte. Yeah, so it doesn't like my 2 gig RAM upgrade. So that kind of sucks. Well, we'll see what we can do. At the very least, the board power is on. How nice. Right. Now, it's quite a bit later. And we're still having issues. I want to put a A7A266 board in here. And I ended up getting a third one. You can see underneath that. And this is the condition it arrived in. So I think I'd give up on these because I can't seem to get one that actually arrives in good shape, usable condition. Which is too bad because I did kind of want one that was AMD because I preferred AMD. So what did I do? Well, I found this. This is a Asus model P4C 800-E. I had somewhere, here it is. I had this P4C 800 that I picked up along with that Antec case, which is actually still sitting right there. And the board, of course, doesn't actually function at all. Just kind of power cycles itself over and over again. Why, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's because the power supply zorched it. So, either way, it was complaining about a CPU over temperature a second ago, but that doesn't look like CPU over temperature to me. Motherboard, sure. I'm not sure why the motherboard is reading that. Because it's not that warm unless that heatsink is just not working. And you can see, speaking of heatsinks, what it's going on it. I hate these Intel 478 coolers. I wanted to use this, and it was okay. Everything was fine right up until I went to put the stupid cradle on. You can see there's pieces of cradle all over the floor now. I mean, obviously it didn't break quite like that. I made it worse, but the fact of the matter is, when I went to go use the clamp, this clamp thing, put it into place, it just exploded into 1,000 pieces. And I don't know what it is about these things, but they're just horrible. They're probably one of the worst heatsink designs I've ever used. So fortunately I have this one, which came with the system, and it's got the nice metal clamps. I upgraded the RAM. It came to me with 512 meg. DDR400, nothing particularly fancy. I don't think this camera refocuses. I think it's fixed focus, just like all the other ones. But, yeah, no, that's kind of pointless. I have this card on it for testing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this into that case. Fortunately, I can because this power supply does have the 4-pin power connector I need. And I'm going to actually go ahead and put in this gigantic Chips and Technologies card. This is actually an Intergraph product. I don't know. It's there, you're not going to be able to see it, but it's an Intergraph Intense 3D Wildcat. Although I'm not sure why they call it Intense 3D, because the chip 65554 is not exactly a 3D chip. I'm guessing that's what some of these other ancillary things are designed to do. I didn't get a hard drive, which I was also going to do and really should have done. And I haven't really decided what I'm going to run on this as far as operating system is concerned. But it'll probably end up getting Windows XP, just for compatibility, because I know Linux doesn't like that Chips and Technologies card. So, as far as the existing hardware, that's actually going to go into that down there in a separate video. So, I'm sure somebody's going to ask me about that over there. That is either in another video or will be in another video. But suffice it to say, that one's probably the most interesting thing in this entire room. Maybe barring that, we'll have to look at that too. I'll have to get that inside. I don't want to run it out here because it's too cold for this. So, it's really probably too cold to be running all this stuff. And we can see here, as it's warmed up, it's gone a little bit back to normal. I hope this heatsink is actually working. So, what this is and what this has on it, in addition to the 2 gigs, if we take a look, you can see 2 gigs, but this is a Pentium 4 3 GHz CPU. So, not bad. Not bad at all, I don't think. But I gotta stop yakking and start working, get some of this old junk removed, and get the new junk installed. I'd actually forgotten that this case has a removable motherboard tray. It'll make this a lot easier to remove and to install the new one. I am going to have to pull out the I/O plate and put the new one in. I hope that's the right I/O plate. I don't actually know. But we can find out. Then we'll see what else we'll need as far as things like slot covers, peripherals, etc., etc. And there it is, installed on the motherboard tray. I think while it's out, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and pull that AGP Pro tab, if I can. I don't think it'll come out easily, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm going to have to not forcefully, but oh, there we go. I managed to get it out. Pull that out, and I think I'm going to pair it up with the AGP Pro card just right out of the box because I'm insane. So we'll give it a try, see what it does. The worst thing it can do is not work. So oh, to be this close and yet this far at the same time. I've got this all done. And I thought I'd start by putting in the AGP Pro card. Well, it started with it not fitting, with the fan assembly installed, so I pulled the fan assembly. It still doesn't fit, but the reason why is more permanent. Okay, let's take a look-see here. See if I can get this out. Take a look at the arrangement of the notches. I mean, it's out of focus, but you can actually see what I'm trying to tell you. Meanwhile, take a look at the notches on the board. Now, I was not aware, personally, that there were multiple revisions of AGP Pro. I thought there was just the one, which is the one that I am used to, this one. But I guess there are. So this card is not going to be installable on this board. And then the camera ran out of batteries, which is really ironic considering all of this. So, I don't know. I've done all that work. I don't feel like pulling that all the way back out again. So, I'm going to just go find an AGP card in my collection of crap, and I'm just going to install it. Or I might just install the PCI one for now. Because I don't think I've got anything better than a GeForce FX 5200 anyway. So I might just install that PCI card, call it good, and go out on the hunt for another AGP Pro card that has the keying that I need. I forget which one's which. One of them corresponds, I think, to 5 volts. The other one is 3.3, or maybe it was 3.3 and 1.6. There's a voltage difference between the two. There's also universal, where they don't have that notch at all, and you can just plug in either or. Same deal with universal cards. I have a lot of universal cards that happen to have both notches. So, but not the AGP Pro one, of course. The one that I actually need is the one that doesn't work, right? Yeah, that's pretty typical. So, I guess I'm putting the fan assembly back on that, so I don't lose it. And I'm just going to put some random card in here fill up the remainder of the slots that I need to fill up. There's going to be one open slot now, because I don't have anything that's dual slot. Certainly not that's going to go in here. And we'll leave it at that. But man, what a freaking pain. All of that build up to this moment of disappointment. Okay. There it is. I've got it hooked up. Let's see what happens. Probably nothing good. Well, that much works. I have a power LED. I have video. Hey! I didn't totally kill it. Cool. I'm not sure if the battery is any good on the, that's installed. Funny enough, it's actually an IKEA battery. Which I didn't think was a thing. But yet it is. Of course, there's no drive. Attached to the Promise Fast Track controller. CPU fan error. Doesn't surprise me. I'm going to have to set this up to my liking. It only sees one of the optical drives, probably because the other one came undone. So I'm going to have to put that back into place. Okay, I'm not entirely sure why it's upset with the CPU fan speed, because I think that's probably normal for that fan. So, whatever. It is getting faster, though, so maybe it's not. Well, now it's not unhappy. I don't know what it's doing. It's just being really strange. So, we'll see how this goes. See if everything breaks the next time I go to use this system, but I think that's pretty much all that I've got as far as this is concerned. I don't know if either of these two optical drives works. That one ejects slowly and then retracts. I think this one was the one that didn't even work. Yeah, it's stuck. Whatever. So, there's for the onboard Ethernet. That's pretty much it. I don't have anything else. So I'll put the side panel on and move on to the next project, because there's not much else I can do with this as it is right now. So, thanks for watching this utter fail. And if you've got any comments, feel free to leave them down below.